What is up, everybody? Ace here, and I'm back with another video. This time we are talking about UHC Season 25, because I've done some planning and stuff. And what you're watching in the background is me practicing for UHC Season 25. This one was actually pretty adventurous, pretty exciting stuff. But I did so much recording that I just gotta be fast-forwarded. But it was quite the time. So yeah, I'm just going to go through the stuff that we're going to be doing for this season, as well as a few things listed at the bottom. So yeah, we are going to be doing this on March the 7th. 7 people voted for that, with March the 14th being next, and then the rest of them got tied with 4 points each, or 4 votes each. The gimmick is going to be the Find a Partner gimmick. A little over half of the voters voted for that. If you remember UHC Season 10, we tried to do that, and we had all of the issues with partial pre-genning, then people stopped taking it seriously, and then the World Border incident at the end. So this time we're going to try it again, like 15 seasons later, but should be good. We were going to try it again for Season 14. We were going to do a Teams of 4 version, where you start in pairs, and the first pairing that you come across joins your team to create a team of 4. And if we want to do that, we're going to have to get enough people. Like, I'm looking at 16 to 20, preferably. So if you want to do teams of 4, then definitely spread the word, get some people to join. Otherwise, we're going to be doing teams of 2, and we're going to start by ourselves. So as long as we have an even number, it should be fine. Even if we have an odd number, it shouldn't be that bad if we just do teams of 2, because then we can, someone might be the unlucky lone wolf, but somebody could also die within the first few episodes before anybody can, before all the teams are made up, I guess. So, I did random or chosen teams. If we don't do Find a Partner, random was the most voted for, although it was pretty even. But since we are doing Find a Partner, it doesn't matter, because we're likely going to be starting by ourselves. If we do end up doing teams of 4, then we will do the pairings randomly. So it'll all be dependent on how many people we get. After this, I asked some kind of wellness questions. First one is, out of curiosity, are you still enjoying UHCs? Out of the 10 responses, 9 of them said yes, still loving it. 1 said it's getting old or stale, but still playing. So it's good to see that people are still interested, or at least still playing it. But the bigger one that I wanted to talk about is the one that's going to take up the most of the time. Is ideas on things that can make UHCs more interesting. And there's 6 responses. One of them's not a serious one, so we'll have to kind of breeze through that one. But the top one says, bring back cities, possibly. And I'm going to weigh both sides of each of these, as well as give my personal opinion. First of all, love cities. I remember when cities was first mentioned, and I did not like the idea at all. I was like, we're not doing that. But then I almost didn't play it as well. I was thinking about skipping that season, but I ended up playing it, and it's one of my top 5 favorite UHCs now. And yeah, I think that one's a fan favorite gimmick. The only issue is that in order to do that gimmick, it is dependent on the mod to be updated for the current Minecraft update, as well as the world editing programs, whichever one Lemons uses. Those have to be, well, I don't know if that one matters as much, but definitely the cities mod has to be at the latest update. And if they're not keeping up with that, then we can't really do much about it, can we? So, So yeah, alternatives to that would be see if we can find another mod that's similar to it that we can use, or if Lemons wants to put in some extra work, or if we want to help him with that, use some of our own builds, in which we would have to like remove some of the stuff that would create too much of an advantage, like all of the stuff we have in our chest. But like, yeah, pick up stuff from you know, the regular JFS world. Even if we could go back to like previous worlds and pick up some old buildings from the old spawn towns and whatnot. And we could do it a couple ways. We could either make our own little city. We could copy and paste spawn town to 00. And just have to empty everything out. Or we could just pick a player or a build. Pick like one build or one player as like a theme and put their builds at 00, or just put one building at 00, or somewhere around the map. We could just do like a little house here and a little house there, but I think it'd be cool to see some JFS builds out there. So, and I have a couple ideas for other things like that that I think would be pretty cool. So, but yeah, I would love to do cities. I'd love to do more city stuff. We tried to do that with the free-for-all UHC, but it wasn't updated, which is why we didn't get to do that. So yeah, the next one is the not serious one. It says UHC except is played on Stardew Valley instead. So that would require everybody having the game, and I have no interest in even getting the game. So UHC and other games would be kind of interesting, but it would require the same, at least the same basic mechanics to apply at the very least. Loot drops random chests throughout the world with good stuff inside. So, on the one hand, I think it would be neat to an extent, but there are some kind of things to make note about this. First of all, it does kind of give the Fortnite kind of battle royale kind of vibes, and UHC is a battle royale type thing. It's just kind of more of a long form version, and you have to actually put in the effort to mine and craft instead of running around houses and looting things like that. So there's that kind of. That's kind of a small issue, I guess, but it would kind of take away some of the mining and the crafting if all you have to do is find a chest with really good loot. On top of that, each UHC world does have its own generated structures, and those structures tend to have loot that can be really good for you. You know, you got your villages, your mob dungeons, your mine shafts, your, you know, temples, desert temple, jungle temple, the shipwrecks. You know, there's all kinds of structures now that have loot that can be to your advantage. The only issue is that you gotta find them and hope that there's at least one on the map, because there's going to be times where you're not going to find a village or any other structure. I'm trying to think of any UHC where nobody found any type of structure at all. I know UHC 20, I think the only structure we found was an igloo, which had a golden apple in it, but I'm pretty sure it did. But it's like the only thing I could think of. Season 15 also had an igloo. So, yeah. So there's stuff like that. Just to keep in mind. I think it would be neat to have some sort of loot chest. Some sort of loot chest kind of lying around that would have things that would help, but not have things that are too overpowered. Like a chest with some arrows in it, or some iron. I'm thinking of it like really low level stuff, but you know, things that won't things that won't take away from the caving aspect of it, basically. But yeah, like I said, we got structures all over the place that give us loot. But who knows? You know, we could something to toy with. Next one, probably unpopular, because it's got an E at the end. Unpopular opinion, but I feel that they are getting too short. 3 hours is fine. Let the border run to the 3 hour. I do agree. I do like longer UHCs. I mean, I like UHCs in general, so if they run long, that's fine with me. You know, remember Season 12 was great, but also remember Season 1 was bad. 5 hours is way too long. 4 hours is also way too long, but we somehow made it insanely good anyways. But yeah, the sweet spot is definitely, like, I think it's like the 2.5 to 3.5 hour range. Maybe not all the way to 3.5 hours, but right around there is pretty good. Thing is, the world border isn't as big of an issue when it comes to shorter UHCs these days. It's actually the permaday edition, because once permaday is on, you don't have to go underground anymore once the sun sets, because the sun's not setting, so you don't have to hide from mobs. We could slow down the border as well, but once you turn permaday off, then you know everybody's slowed down, and might stretch out combat because people will arrive at different times, because some teams will, you know, arriving late might have to hang back another night or whatever. So there's things like that. So yeah, we could slow down the world border too, but the big thing is the permaday deal. But yeah, I think a longer UHC would be good, because we spend an entire month getting ready for it, and by getting ready for it, I mean continuing to live our daily lives until it happens. But I plan for it a month in advance, and then Lemons, sets up the world like in the week or a few days prior, and then we gather everybody together, and like 2 hours later it's over, and we're done, we're gone. Everybody disperses. So I think a little bit longer of a UHC would be good. We spend so much time over the years, like, shortening UHCs, especially after seasons 11 and 12. We introduced the world border, which didn't work at first, but when season 13 came around, it sped things up. And now it's gotten to the point where we can actually beat the world border. We can finish the game before the world border finishes closing, in a lot of cases, and that's not great. The always closing border was neat because it kind of stretched things out, because the border wasn't forcing people in as quickly. So maybe we could do that more. And people kind of complained that it ran a bit long, but I do think I would like to see UHCs be a bit longer. I'm sure people like it as short as it is, but I don't know. Next one is the one I put. More people. It's pretty straightforward. You get more people in the game. You get different play styles. You get different skill levels. More variety, more excitement. Maybe somebody besides Killer can finish in the top 2. I like, and it's just nice to see other people joining in. When Tiny Stranger and Ramon or Raymond or whatever joined us for last season, it was really nice to see. As well as seeing people coming back, like Dakota. It's good to see people showing up, and bigger attendance numbers can stretch the UHC out a little bit more, because there's more combat, there's more people to get through, and UHCs don't end so quickly. So get more people to play. It's another incentive, because I think more people can equal more excitement. I mean, think of the early days of UHCs, where we had 30 people in season 4. We had 15 teams of 2, and apparently there was a lot going on back then. I was not in that season, but In the first 3 seasons, we had 28 people per season. And season 2 was extremely good. There was combat throughout that entire thing. And we had 28 people. And season 12 was the 4-hour one, and we had 7 teams of 3. So we had 21 people. And you saw how crazy that one was. So, and let's see, last one says a UHC with another objective besides the last team standing. For example, must collect a list of items, must retrieve a flag, etc. We did do Race to the Ender Dragon in the early on stuff. We did 2 of those. One of them was with the old dragon style, and then the new dragon style with the cages and such. After that second one, we decided to not do that anymore because it was too difficult. We could try that again in the future. I do kind of like the idea. I don't know about the list of items stuff. I definitely believe that last team standing should be at least a, if not the primary goal, it should at least be a feature. Like with the Race of the Ender Dragon, you still got to kill other teams and be the last team standing, but you still also have to beat the Ender Dragon. So, like, as long as last team standing is still a thing to do, it would still stay within the UHC spirit, I guess. But yeah, I think capture the flag would be kind of neat. You could set one up in the middle, and you have to grab it and take it back to your starting point, you know, like a starting corner of the map. Maybe it spawns in after like 100 minutes. That way you still have to cave and whatnot, and then when it spawns in, you can try to go for it. But that'd be kind of neat. And then if you have the flag, you have the spectral mode on. Whoever has the flag has the spectral mode on. That would be, because like in other capture the flag games, there's usually some sort of handicap to being the guy with the flag. Like you got the special icon, or maybe you're a little slower, or whatever. There's something that handicaps you, and for us it could just be spectral mode, like, or something similar to that. So I'm not sure what other game modes there could be, but just something to discuss, I guess. I was also thinking about doing, because we've talked about this before, doing like little test UHCs of like super gimmicky things. And I was thinking earlier today about doing an April Fool's UHC where it's just a for funsy thing, but there's like a secret change. There's like something changed with the UHC. I don't want to provide examples because I have an idea in mind and I don't want to just say it. So, but I think it'd be kind of neat to have just a UHC on April Fool's Day where we just not as many rules and the people can play a UHC with some really weird gimmick going on, something extra silly. So I think that would be kind of neat. Unfortunately, let's see, April Fool's Day is on a Wednesday. April 1st is on a Wednesday, so it'll be kind of tricky to do, but if it's just a fun little thing, I guess we don't need as many people. But I think it'd be kind of neat. So may talk about that a little bit more when the time comes. But I think that should do for everything UHC related. I've already, oh no, I have not requested that day off yet, but I am about to once I finish recording. I'm making sure to take off 1 day per month, and February 17th is my one for February, and March will be the UHC. Technically, I ended up missing a day of work recently because of not having enough gas to get to work, not having enough money. I had a bit of a miscalculation with my finances, but it's all good. my mouth is not working right, but my finances are actually doing pretty good right now. So I'm hoping everything stays that way. I'm trying to be extra careful with it. So, yeah, I will do a proper February recap in the coming weeks. But yeah, that should do for this video. Hopefully we will see a bunch of people at UHC. Hopefully at least around the same amount as last season, if not more. Preferably more. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed watching. I shall see you all next time.